It has become a political football and a distraction that has kept both the provincial UCP government and the federal Conservatives in taking any meaningful action on climate change. It has become something that we have become so polarized around. And the reality is that Albertans have never, been on board with the consumer carbon tax. And I say that knowing that I'm proud of the work that the Alberta NDP did to bring in the climate leadership plan. But the reality is, even back in 2016 and even up till now, the public support for our consumer carbon tax still remains very, very low. 68% of Albertans still do not buy into the idea of a consumer carbon price. They have not been given the information, or they don't buy into the idea that it's actually revenue neutral. And then we have a federal government that has undermined the very premise of a consumer carbon price by carving out exceptions for heating oil and for certain areas of the country. Basically, we're at the point where this is become a huge distraction from the very important issues of how we're going to address climate change. And we know that there are measures that can be taken that other jurisdictions have taken. You look at the US and their Inflation Reduction Act. You look at in Europe, there's many different measures that can be taken to address climate change in a meaningful way around investments, around subsidies, all of those things and incentives. Those are all pieces that can still form a really part of a robust climate change plan, which we know Albertans are deeply interested in. But we have to, I think, acknowledge that we have not brought the public along with us on that issue. And it may be time to move beyond a consumer carbon price and focus more on the things that do work, like the industrial carbon pricing and other measures to have a full plan. Now, look, I'm a leadership candidate. I haven't, what I'm saying right now is we need to have a conversation about this. And I've been having many conversations with leading climate activists in our province, experts in this area. And we need to continue those conversations to say, what would that climate plan look like without a consumer carbon price?
So what's the proposal? I mean, in layperson's terms, what would you do with it? You just get rid of it?
Well, it's not really at this point. It's not really up to the provincial government because, the UCP government handed it over to the federal government to take responsibility for. But I think we need to start talking about, we can't wait to see what's going to happen. We know there's a federal election that's going to be coming up soon, but we need to be talking about what does that climate leadership plan in Alberta, yes, a made in Alberta solution look like that may not include a consumer carbon price. I think that's just the reality that we have to look at. We cannot continue to be reactive on the climate file. We need to be proactive. And that's what we're seeing from the current provincial government. It's all the things they won't do. They don't want to meet all kinds of targets. They don't want to do any of the work that's required to actually address climate change. And they want to just fight. I'm saying we need to actually develop a plan with experts, with advice from climate activists, with industry to come up with a plan that actually says, okay, what are we going to do going forward that is proactive and not reactive? Because we can't afford to wait any longer. Ryan, we've all lived through last summer's wildfires. We've seen all the impacts, the drought that we're going to be facing this year. We know that last year was the first year on record that we've actually seen that big increase in our global temperature. So things are not going well, and we cannot afford any longer to be dithering on these issues. We need a robust plan that Canadians and Albertans are going to be part of and see themselves in and are going to support.